Both these teams flying high coming into this game. Tim Lambright going up and getting the football.
No matter what part of the field they're on, they can break into the play.
Anthony Francis down the sideline. He's going to go in for a score. Big pickup there for Angelo Blake. He just picks up those big chunks of yardage each time he carries the ball.
Boston just seems to be a little sharp out in this game. There's just no substitute for straight-out speed. We've seen some amazing games, but that was
one of the best we've seen in a long time. Hello, Boston, and welcome to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain as we bring you coverage of Week 2 here in Boston Public High School football. Tonight, two exam schools square off as the Boston Latin Wolfpack take on the Latin Academy Dragons. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. Alan, these two teams squared off for the first time last season.
Ever.
Yeah. Two schools that have been around forever, but they've never played each other. So, and maybe it's because announcers didn't want to deal with the two Latins.
There you go, right. Say that 10 times, right?
No question. And they had a 14-0 slugfest. It was pouring out here last year. Beautiful night tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun, this game here.
It will be a lot of fun. And it's tough to say an important game second week in the season, but the fact of the matter is both teams lost last week.
That's right.
Coaches and players on both squads were like, okay, we don't want to go 0-2.
Right.
More importantly, neither team has even gotten into their division or conference play yet. So you clearly don't want to start the season with losses before you go into your real division play, which that's those wins and losses really count toward playoffs.
Question. No, you want to be playing well going into those games. But the Latin Academy side, the player we're going to look out for is Ryan Wynn. He's a second-year starter now at receiver, does a lot of good things for this Dragons football
team. Remember Ryan, a few years ago he was sort of a utility player. He's now emerged as a really good, versatile wide receiver. He had a touchdown catch last week, plus he had a touchdown run. Apparently one of his favorite plays is an end around. We'll see if the Dragons try that tonight. Wynn gotten a little bigger from we saw him as a sophomore and a junior, and
that's right.
It's good to see that he added a little bulk to him.
Absolutely.
And good hands. Always had good hands, and like you said, he's the highlight guy for the Dragons.
No question. Got a lot of catches last year. Going to be featured even a little bit more this his senior season. Meanwhile, on the other side, another receiver for the Boston Latin Wolfpacks, our spotlight player, Zach Duran. He was hurt for the second half of last season, but then came in last week, came back from his injury. He's our spotlight player tonight, and he is a very versatile. Does a lot of different things with the football, catching the ball for the Latin Wolfpack.
Well, I'll tell you, actually, he got the Wolfpack off to a good start last week. He got the first score of the game. He got banged up a little bit because you noticed he sat out for about a 5 to 8 minute stretch.
That's
right. He did come back in the game, so he's okay and should be all right for tonight. But similar to Wynn on the Latin Academy team, Duran is going to be a guy that we'll see the Boston Latin Wolfpack going to, because they are going to throw the ball a lot. Like you said, beautiful night, no rain, not much wind, so there's no reason to not put the ball in the air.
No question. And you see Duran, a two-time captain this season and last season. He had 6 receptions last week and a receiving touchdown. So we know Vass is going to go to him a lot more tonight, just like he did last week.
Doubt.
And also Joe Conley, one of their big wide receivers, is also a guy that he's going to throw the football to. Now for more on this game, we're going to go to our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky, who's got an update for us. Seth?
Thanks, guys. The player to watch for Boston Latin today is senior quarterback Dennis Vasquez, a guy who's worked really hard on his decision-making during the offseason. Head coach Ray Butler was pretty happy with his play in the first game, but he needs to do a better job with his pre-snap reads. A couple times there were plays where it worked the first time and he thought he could do it again, but the defense made some adjustments. He will get some help today. DeAndre Harris, one of the team's wide receivers, and Jake Leonardo, one of the team's tight ends, were not available week 1. They should get targets. Butler just hopes that they can make the grabs, as both will bring a little bit more athleticism to this Wolfpack offense. Guys?
Seth, thanks very much. And that was one of the problems that Coach Butler talked about last week, was that he thought they got out athletic, I guess, is if you want to say it, with some of those passes. So Tim Lambright on O'Brien and some other plays as well, along with some special teams plays. So he hopes that these athletic players that can now play for this team are going to give this team a little juice here in this game.
Any coach is always welcoming athletic guys and versatile guys. I mean, you're right, Latin last week when they were playing O'Brien just used their speed and quickness from the second quarter on. Pretty much took over. Like we said, the Wolfpack actually scored the first touchdown of the game, and they had a couple of other drives that came up empty because of good defense by O'Brien.
That's right.
Tonight they want to try to finish off those drives, and I think that's exactly what the coach is talking about when he says the quarterback has to do a little better job with his decision making.
Wolfpack taking on the Dragons here at White Stadium. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff from White Stadium in Jamaica Plain right after these words. Don't go away.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your nurturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain for our Week 2 coverage of the Boston Public High School football season. Tonight we have the Latin Academy Dragons hosting the Boston Latin Wolfpack. Both these teams coming in at 0-1, so we'll see which team kind of gets off the schneid and gets their first win of the season here tonight. And as you mentioned, Alan, neither team has gotten into the league schedule yet, and they want to be rocking and rolling once they hit those
no doubt about it.
teams
That's
on the
why
schedule.
the guys you picked out as key players for both sides, you're 100% right. Both of them being wide receivers. Both teams have no problem putting the ball in the air, and tonight, because the weather is good, I think we'll see a lot of passing.
Yeah, a little bit of wind up there, but not too much, as it has turned out to be a beautiful night here at White Stadium. Wolfpack receiving, that's Ulysses Brenzel on the return. He brings it up to the 37-yard line, make that the 36.
A good start for Wolfpack. Nice return by Brenzel. You see, it's always a key to catch it on the fly. That gives you a chance to get some momentum going upfield.
Wolfpack in the white uniforms with the gray pants and purple trim. There's your starters for Boston Latin. That's Vasquez, Curran, and Brenzel in the backfield. Conley and Duran are the receivers. And also DeAndre Harris getting some action tonight as well. His first game of the season for the Wolfpack.
I'm sure they're glad to get him back.
After the 17-yard return for Brenzel. Latin now from the 37-yard line. And on first down, they hand off to Brenzel, and he picks up maybe a yard, and I don't think they're going to give it to him. So no gain on first down for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, both teams fired up with their front lines. You see, first play of the game, good penetration defensively. He actually gets hit in the backfield, but dives to maybe a half yard.
Middle linebacker Pat Smith with the tackle there for the Dragons, so it'll be second down and almost 10 for the Wolfpack. Vasquez going to the air. He's looking for Duran, but the pass a little too far away from Zach.
We also had Joe Conley, a very unhappy wide receiver who somehow was left alone. The cornerback who was covering him went to the middle. Conley was wide open down the sideline.
Here you see Vasquez's numbers from last week, 110 passing yards, a touchdown, but 2 picks.
Yeah, and very important ones, too.
There's also some trouble with the shotgun snap late in the game last week. So far, pretty good for Vasquez, as this time he's got to run, and he's going to get sacked in the backfield at the 28-yard line.
That was some good speed on that defensive rush. Tell you that came from the left side.
That's Carlos
He's not even
Pizarro.
in the picture right now, but as he tries to roll out, see that good speed to close. Senior defensive end for Latin Academy. Huge loss. Wow.
That was about a 15-yard loss on the play.
So quickly a 4th down and what? 4th and 21.
Latin with an end-over-end punt that's going to roll back. And it gets a good bounce for the Wolfpack. They down it at the 39-yard line, so that's where Latin Academy will take over. They'll have excellent field position for their first possession of the game.
The defense actually earned it for them. Yeah, that huge sack sort of flipped the field a little bit.
Latin Academy starters as Zach Maffeo is Luke Maffeo's twin brother. So
Right.
Luke's the quarterback at O'Brien. Zach is the quarterback at Latin Academy. It's going to be fun when those two teams square off. Cedric Johnson and Patrick Smith are in the backfield for the Dragons, and Ryan Wynn and Osiah DeHolmes are the receivers.
Yeah, DeHolmes, another player who the good receiver downfield. So Latin Academy may really put it in the air deep.
Coach Aziza also likes his depth in the backfield. He's going to throw a lot to the running backs as well. So no real top-end burner for this team, but a lot of options for the Dragons. Here on first down, looks like that's Smith with the carry, picked up a yard.
Okay, both teams defensively getting off the ball quickly. So Latin right of your screen. Connolly plays both ways, defensive end and a wide receiver on offense. He actually has the size to be more of a tight end, but he has decent speed, so the Wolfpack use him as a wide receiver.
And Zach Maffeo, 2 passing touchdowns last week versus Randolph. Latin Academy lost that game 30-20, but Coach Aziz has been very happy with the progress of the sophomore quarterback, Zach Maffeo. On second down, they hand off to Smith again, and once again, Latin School, I'm going to be doing that all night. Short gain on that play for Pat Smith.
Again, defensive end comes across. Yeah, see, you're just not seeing much of a push from the offensive line from the Dragons yet. Latin Academy in the all black, and Boston Latin in the white jerseys and was it gray? Yeah, gray pants, purple trim.
Yeah, Johan Stavery, the big defensive tackle in the middle, coming up with that stop. So it's 3rd and 7 now for Latin Academy. Maffeo fighting to get away from those defensive linemen. Did a good job.
I was going to say, did a good job just to get that ball away to save a loss. But sort of mirror first series for both teams. A couple of short runs and then pressure on the 3rd down. Play will force a punt.
You see head coach Ray Butler.
You wonder what kind of practices that Waste team actually, but we saw Boston Latin last week and they had to be very frustrated.
Duran back to receive for Boston Latin. He fields it right around the 24-yard line.
Nice cut.
Duran trying to get to the sideline, and he's forced out of bounds right around the 33.
That was Wynn. We talked about him on offense, but he got used that speed of his to get down there on coverage. Duran caught the ball in the air, made a nice little cut. Looked like he may have opened up some room for himself, but Wynn closed it up real quick.
It was Coach Ray Butler again. He said he was happy with some of the things that Latin School did well last week.
They had a couple of nice drives, they just couldn't finish.
That's right.
He said inside the 20-yard line.
There was a couple of plays
times
that really hurt them, but he was happy with his defensive and offensive lines. They were able to clog up the middle defensively. O'Brien had a tough time rushing the football last week. Vasquez on first down. Nice catch that time from DeAndre Harris. He's going to get a short gain.
They're trying to get Harris into the game right away. As you mentioned, he didn't play last week, but he can be a key player for them at that wide receiver spot. Just trying to get him to get a touch as early as possible.
So
I'm sure we'll see them fake that out and then have him go up the sideline.
After the 3-yard pickup, now it's Curran with the carry as he chugs along for a couple of yards up to the 37-yard line.
Both teams trying to mix the pass and the run. We saw Curran do a decent job last week. Had a couple of nice runs up the middle.
Third down and 5 now for the Wolfpack. Vasquez over the middle.
Wide
He's got
open.
Duran for the first down.
Duran did a good job. Had his zone coverage in the defensive backfield. Duran came in front of past the cornerback, came in front of the safety, gave his quarterback a lot of room. Good target. You see, he could have gone deeper, but Wynn was the free safety, so he made sure he stayed 4 or 5 yards away from Wynn.
Wolfpack now at midfield on first down. The handoff to Curran again.
Wide
Massive
open.
hole for Paul Curran, who makes a great cut up the field. Curran, eyes on the end zone, and he's tackled right around the 7.
Tell you, touchdown saving tackle, Rafael Cruz. Well, you talk about, you said it right. He had his eyes on that end zone. Got into that stride of his, and Cruz just had a little more speed to run him down. Watch this. There you go. There's the right now. Right now is when he sees that end zone, but he could also hear Cruz behind him. Just wanted to make sure to protect the football. There's some excitement already.
We saw Curran with a few good carries last week. Nothing big like that, though. Now a bad snap, or actually Vasquez just couldn't hang on, so he's going to try to take it himself, and it's going to be no gain on the play.
I'll tell you, saved what could have been a turnover. I mean, we talked about it's a nice night. The weather's good, but because it's humid, there's going to be wet footballs most of the night. Some of the condensation is still around, even though there's no rain.
Yeah, we had rain for a lot of this week. And, of course, with that grass, it still does stick around for a little while.
Well, they knew we had a game tonight, so
right.
The rains
right.
probably come back tomorrow, right?
God made sure that Friday Night Football was going to be fine around here. On second down, it's Brenzel with the carry. He makes his way up to the 5.
Tell you that this Boston Latin team, they're relentless. They're forcing the action up the middle, even though they're not really getting much out of it other than that huge run to get them down into the red zone. Third down play. Now a little more of a spread offense as he has 2 wide receivers to his right. And there's a bad snap.
Another high snap. And Vasquez tries to get it off there.
That was again. And you mentioned that Coach talked about bad decisions. This is a bad decision. In this situation, just pick it up. No, he was very lucky because you throw up a sort of dying duck like that. Anybody, a lineman, linebacker, anybody could pick that off.
There's also the chance,
really
too.
Lucky.
Absolutely. There's also a chance, too, when he goes back to throw it, because it's such an awkward throw at that point, somebody could swipe it out of his hands.
Out of his hands for
that empty
ball.
hand rule, that's a free ball. So
right.
I would think that Coach Butler likes the end result of that play. They still have a play from the 5-yard line now, but
that's
how everything happened,
that's
not so much.
Be number one in the practice on Monday.
Yep.
Talk about what not to do when you're inside the 10-yard line with the football. Don't be that careless.
But Latin, once again, having troubles with the snap. They had it this late in the game last week against O'Brien. They had a couple of punt snaps that were either low or high. Then they had a couple of snaps where either Vasquez couldn't handle it or it was low and difficult for him to handle. So we'll see if that continues to plague them throughout this game as it did last week against O'Brien.
It's early enough in the season that you may make a switch. I mean, if he determines the center who's having the problem getting the ball back, you may have to go to a backup guy. But it's just tough because that's like the most basic. The exchange between the quarterback and the center that has to be right so you can get your plays off.
And they run this They run the spread offense, too, so it's always a shotgun snap. Vasquez, corner end zone throw, and it falls incomplete. There were actually 2 receivers in the area. He was looking for Conley, I believe.
Conley actually made a good adjustment to this. The ball was thrown. It's actually a safe throw. There's no Latin Academy players around, but Conley did a good job to make an adjustment out there. But yeah, he had his teammate in front of him. I think he might have.
Duran might have kind of
taken his view of the ball.
Right, shielded his vision a little there in the end zone. So that'll be a turnover on downs. Yeah, Latin Academy takes over at the Wolfpack, or their own 5-yard line, rather.
That was a 70-yard drive, and Wolfpack gets nothing out of it.
A lot of the same that we saw last week we've seen so far here in the first quarter for Boston Latin. Now Latin Academy on first down. Smith fighting forward for yardage up to the 7-yard line.
Yeah, he did fight for that because he got whacked right at the line of scrimmage. You talked about the Maffeos, the 2 twins. Just watch Smith. So he gets hit right here and then bounces off that, and he got that 2 yards after the hit. That must have been a funny conversation at the dinner table, right?
Right.
2 twins, okay. But you're both going to exam schools, but which one is going where and
right.
why?
And were they both saying, well, I want to play quarterback. Well, then I want to play quarterback.
So we're not going to the same school.
So we
right.
can't
We're
go to the
definitely
same
not
school.
going to the same school, right. Let's figure out which ones.
That is going to be a fun one for their family when those 2 teams match up in a few weeks.
Can you imagine that? That's
They pitch over the left side again to Smith. This time he has a little bit more of a hole, but he is trucked by DeAndre Harris right around the 10.
Harris again. We talked about him being back in the lineup. Does go both ways. Watch right of your screen. Number 16, Harris. Good form tackle, like you like to say, Pat. Shoulders to the thighs. Drive through. Take away all the offensive momentum. I really thought we were going to see the quarterbacks throwing the ball downfield to stop the game. Being a little more conservative so far.
3rd and 5 now for the Dragons. As it is Maffeo who's going to try to go to the air. And it looks like it slipped out of his hands, but what a catch on the sideline. That was Ryan Wynn.
That's our guy. You pick out. We always talk about 2 players, 1 from each team before the game. And he had a touchdown catch last week. This was so just throwing up there to allow Wynn to run under it. He did just that.
Well, there were a couple of throws last week when Luke Maffeo sort of just had to chuck it up there, and O'Brien made nice catches.
Yeah.
Coach Butler has got to be having nightmares now about these types of plays from his twin. I mean,
that's amazing.
You can't write that in a script.
So the Dragons get out of deep in their own territory.
Now from the 26, they try to hand off to Johnson on first down, but Cedric is wrapped up in the backfield.
The front lines for both teams are actually doing okay here in the first quarter. So you see, again, chance for a short loss there because of the Wolfpack defense.
Johan Stavery in on the stop that time for Boston Latin. 2nd and 11 now for the Dragons as Johnson with a 1-yard loss on that carry.
A little confusion. They're going to take a timeout. Yeah, Wynn lined up apparently on the wrong side as he was trying to switch sides. And as the play clock's running down, the head coach called a timeout to get them all on the same page.
1:32 left to go here in the first quarter. Our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky's got an update. Seth, what's happening?
Thanks, guys. Poor snaps caused a lot of problems for Boston Latin last week, including 2 times where they tried to snap it back to the punter, unable to convert, and it left them deep in their own defensive territory to start a drive. Today, Alphonse DeVita twice when they were first and goal, unable to find the quarterback's hands, something they're really focusing on the sideline right now, trying to talk Alphonse DeVita up a little bit as the center tries to be a little bit more precise with his snaps back to the quarterback. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. And, yeah, this has been a tough couple of weeks for DeVita snap of the football. But you know what? Some of them were Vasquez's fault. I mean, it seems to be sort of a combined effort.
A couple of them went right through his hands.
That's the end around we talked about with Wynn, but it looks like Boston Latin Academy
They're ready for that.
was all over it.
Yeah, Latin. Ready for that one. Yeah, see the good penetration. The linebacker came across. Max Morales. So again, 3rd and long. Both teams have been facing 3rd and long here in this first quarter.
So 3rd and 11 now for the Dragons. We'll see if Zach Maffeo will again go to the air as we are now under a minute to go here in the first quarter. No score from White Stadium. Maffeo rolling to his right. Ooh. Almost had Ryan Wynn.
Yeah. Slipped through his hands, well, through his gloves. Yeah. Little square out pattern. It wouldn't have been enough for the first down, but again, going to your main guy. Try to give him a chance and make the field.
Roy Thompson there on the coverage, so Latin Academy will have to punt the football from their own 25-yard line. Ryan Wynn back to kick. Once again, it's Zach Duran.
Too, right? He's an all-around guy.
Zach Duran back to receive. Duran fields it right around the 43-yard line.
This one. Nice move.
Duran with a nice cut. And he's brought down right around the Latin Academy 39-yard line. So
again, you catch these punts, those line drive punts on the fly. You have a chance to make a cut to get past that first wave. It's good to see he's healthy for the Wolfpack because last week's game against O'Brien, he did sit out for a lot of time.
Good chunk of time.
We weren't sure if he was going to come back, but he did come back in that fourth quarter.
18-yard return for Duran, so now the Wolfpack deep inside Latin Academy territory.
Yeah, he's really an all-around guy. So we're seeing two of them win on the Latin Academy side and Duran. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get the football straight. A lot of times each team has their favorite balls. The quarterbacks have their favorite balls they want to use. And also trying to keep them dry, too.
That's right. A lot of times it's an injured player on the sideline with a towel trying to wipe them down in between plays. Now on first, another high snap. Vasquez is going to have to take it himself, and he's got nowhere to go with it.
It's one of those things that's hard to really try to figure it out. I mean, Vasquez has a good size, some good height on, but the ball's coming back with speed and height on it. He has to really corral it and takes away his chance to look downfield. That's going to be the end of the first quarter.
So after one quarter here at White Stadium in Jamaica Plain, no score between the Wolfpack and the Dragons despite this nice run from Paul Curran. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the second quarter here on Game of the Week right after these messages. Don't go away.
Green red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain as we resume our coverage of Game of the Week, Boston Latin and Latin Academy here in Week 2. No score here from White Stadium, and once again Vasquez after the tough snap, but he's going to take this one himself. Past the 25 up to the 24, first down, Boston Latin Wolfpack.
Well, making something out of nothing. You see Vasquez, nice one-handed snag for that one. That actually may have been a designed run because he was off and running as soon as he pulled the ball down.
Yeah, that was a quick decision by him.
Hey, so far, the hero of the game is the junior cornerback, Rafael Cruz, because he ran down Curran, who was on his way to a touchdown.
Yeah, that's been the only threat to the end zone so far.
First and 10.
Now on first down from the Latin Academy 24-yard line. Latin Wolfpack handed off to Brenzel, who breaks one tackle and makes his way up to the 17-yard line.
Yeah, if you're looking for an edge, I think it is the running attack for the Latin Wolfpack. You see, again, second and third effort.
7-yard pickup on the play. Second down and
3. 7-yard pickup there on first down. They hand it off to Brenzel again. Makes a nice cut to the outside. Good block by Conley. Brenzel in for a touchdown.
You're absolutely right, Pat. The key was the block by Conley and also a good cut to pop outside. That play was designed to go off tackle, but it was crowded. He jumped outside. Watch him jump. Okay, lefties, righties, can you see him jump outside right there? And then you talk about Conley. He's out of the screen right now, but the block has already been made. And he gets to the pylon.
4-play, 39-yard touchdown drive for the Wolfpack. And they continue to move the football. I mean, again, it's like last week. They moved it up and down the field. This time they were able to score. Last week on their first possession of the second quarter, they also scored their first touchdown of the game. Now they try to run the Wildcat with Thompson, and he's got to pick up the botched snap. Thompson now to the outside as he gets a block from Vasquez, but nowhere near the end zone. So the two-point conversion no good from the Wolfpack. Let's get another replay of the touchdown from Boston Latin.
Well, the center is a junior, so you don't know if the backup is maybe even a sophomore or a younger player, an experienced player. But at some point, Coach Butler has to think about, I gotta fix this somehow. Sometimes it's tough to do in game. You can practice on the sideline all you want, but it's not like really live action.
So despite the botched snap and the no 2 points there after the touchdown, Latin now up 6-0 here with 9:36 left to go in the second quarter. Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston. A lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW.
Key play in that drive was actually the run by the quarterback on that bad snap. They had a high snap, and it looked like it might have been a designed quarterback run, but even if it wasn't, he made a huge run into the red zone to set up that touchdown.
Malcolm Crispin back to receive. He fields it at the 19-yard line. This kid's a freshman and makes his way up to the 39. 20-yard run back for the freshman running back for the Dragons.
Crispin did a good job to corral the football, keeping it in front of him. You like the way he tucks it in with that left hand on the sideline.
Coach Ziza very happy with what Crispin has given them just as a freshman so far this season. He'll be getting a handful of carries tonight.
Little guy. He's hoping he grows. 5'7". He's listed at 143. So you see he had a little burst of speed on that kickoff return. And again, with the exam schools, a lot of these kids, different sports, are able to start as early as 7th grade.
That's right.
Practicing with teams, and in some cases playing. Happens a lot in hockey and football. Not so much in basketball, but there are some instances where we have some of the really younger players who are good enough to make it up to varsity.
Yeah, we often talk about Wayne Selden, who played as an 8th grader for O'Brien High
Started
School.
as 8th grader.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got an update from our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, what's happening on your end?
Guys, the one thing that Rocco Ziza, for BLA emphasized last week is that his defense needed to do a better job with their technique and tackling. It's a very young linebacker core. They're playing 5 up front at points, trying to keep Boston Latin from getting into the second level, but we've seen a lot of success for Boston Latin running through some of those arm tackles, something that Ziza continues to emphasize. They need to do a better job of wrapping up the ball carrier. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. And Coach Ziza had a couple of injuries at linebacker during training camp. Not necessarily starters, but he lost some depth at that position. So the guys he's got out there now are the guys he's going to have to use. And they had a tough time making tackles on that last possession for Boston Latin School. Now on first down, the handoff up the middle was to
good defense again. Wow.
Smith. And Pat Smith banged up the shoulders. He's going to have to come out.
Yeah, Curran, watch Curran, number 4, comes out of the linebacker spot. Yeah, Curran is, we saw him hit that big run offensively. He also has 4 tackles so far defensively.
Pat Smith.
Yeah, well, he took a hard hit. Hopefully it's just like a stinger. Sometimes you hit a nerve and it really feels bad, almost feels really numb.
He got sort of driven into the ground on that play. Second down and 10 now for the Latin Academy Dragons. They got Wynn in motion. They faked the pitch. And now it's Maffeo going to have to take it himself as he makes his way up to the 43-yard line.
Again, Curran's going to get this tackle eventually, but quarterback's able to get a decent gain to make it a manageable third down. Well, the crowd on the Latin side really filled in.
Normally this is the home field. Well, it's a home field really for both schools, but tonight technically it's a home field for Latin Academy. So you got some Latin Academy and sprinkled in with a couple of Latin school fans on our side, the home side. Then on the away side, you got a lot of Latin school fans and the Latin band. So good crowd here tonight.
Excellent. Friday night, yeah.
Helps that it's a nice night here in Boston.
I was just going to say, that's the key.
Right. Don't have to necessarily wear a coat.
Let's go up to the stadium.
Right. Now on 3rd and 7, Maffeo is going to have to get rid of it.
Pressure. Yeah, Boston Latin, I mean, after the first quarter, which really appeared to be sort of even on both sides of the ball, this, for whatever reason, the start of this second quarter, we're seeing the Latin Wolfpack in white really do a much better job of controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we just saw Pat Smith still grabbing his shoulder. Remember, he's the starting middle linebacker.
Right, you got to hope he's okay because you talk about the defense and having some inexperienced guys in there. If another starter goes down, that can be a problem.
Wynn back to kick. Duran back to receive again for the Wolfpack. Spiraling punt that time from Wynn. Duran fields it right around the 30. And Duran is met right around the 38-yard line.
Looks like there's a flag down also. It might be our first penalty. Yeah, looks like I might have been blocking the back. But you're right, Duran is pretty tricky. I mean, he did a good job to concentrate, to see the ball right into his arms, and then tack on a
spotted a foul, Mikey.
Because it might have been a little block in the back as Duran was trying to get to the sideline.
Head referee Dennis Green.
Doing a lot of walking, not much talking, right? You gotta help us out here. All right, they'll take my call then. It was blocking the back.
That's right. I think he did it slightly earlier as we were showing the replay.
Before we turn the mic on, right?
That's right.
We'll talk to him at halftime.
Yeah. Say, check with us. See if we're in the middle of a replay before you make your call.
Use our equipment, please.
Yes. After the penalty, Vasquez looking deep
open.
down the left side, but Harris just couldn't hang on to it.
Good effort on both ends. The ball was slightly overthrown because Harris had the defender beat. Watch it again. You'll see Harris using those long strides of his, and he's behind the defender. He just, who's the safety, was trying to come back at an angle. That ball probably had a little too much steam on it.
Second down and 10 now for Boston Latin from their own 20-yard line.
Wolfpack's not playing. They want to get the second touchdown quick.
Right. Another mishandled snap, and we'll see if Latin School recovered.
That was on the quarterback.
That was on Vasquez.
I was just going to say, same thing. That's on the quarterback. He I guess he just wasn't watching the ball into there because you had the running back looking for the handoff, Brenzel. But again, that now brings up a 3rd and long. You got an almost long reception down the sideline, goes incomplete. Then you have the bad handling of the quarterback. So you're 3rd and 14. He'll be back to pass again. Let's see, receivers, 2 to his right. He has 1 to his left.
You got Harris at the top of your screen, looking for Duran, and he throws it high. They're going to throw a flag there.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's going to be onto Holmes.
Contact.
Holding
Osiah just didn't.
All right, before the ball was thrown. So we have holding, 10 yards from the previous spot, okay? Number 11, right?
Huge penalty.
Before the ball was thrown, we had holding on the defense, 10 yards from the previous spot, and a first down.
Talk about 3rd and 14, and your defense, because you get a. I didn't see a hold.
I didn't see it. I wonder if it's
on the bump.
Unless it was a running back coming out of the backfield. I didn't see it.
Well, that's a tough call on the Holmes. Because he actually had 2 responsibilities. He started out with the wide receiver who he passed on to the safety, but then as the running back was coming out, or the flanker came out rather, that's his coverage.
Automatic first down for the Wolfpack.
That's a tough break for him. And yes, he'll get yelled at for that one. 3rd and 14, you just give away a first down.
Yeah, very costly penalty there on 3rd down. First down now for Wolfpack as Brenzel. Not a lot of room, might have picked up a yard.
But if you notice, the Latin Wolfpack, they're really mixing this up. It's almost like they're alternating plays. You see Brenzel again.
He picked up probably 2 yards on that play.
Not sure if it's by design or just, but they're literally alternating pass run.
Penalty on the play, offside against the Dragons.
So an offsides penalty on Latin Academy.
Gives up 5 yards.
Yeah,
that's
be 1st and 5 now for Boston Latin.
I don't know what happened between the first and second quarters, but it's like a different game.
So 2 costly penalties so far for the Dragons here in the second quarter. Now it's Vasquez looking over the right side. Scott Harris right around the 42-yard line.
That was a nice throw. I'll tell you, Pat, he threw that. It was right in front of us. He threw that before Harris even turned around. He zipped it right between the defenders. Good job by Harris to hold on because he actually was trying to turn upfield as he was getting hit by Rafael Cruz.
Second catch of the night for DeAndre Harris. First down for Boston Latin. Now they give it to Kern again, and this time.
Oh, we got a late flag. Wow.
Another flag. We'll see what the penalty is.
Holding on Latin. That's going to back them up.
Coach, 10 yards.
Yeah, that's going to help.
10 yards.
That'll help Latin Academy. The Dragons
them.
are a little on their heels right now, so having that 10-yard walk-off will help them.
69, Coach. Tackled them.
So number 69 from Boston Latin Wolfpack, Kevin Key, the senior.
Yeah, that's the tough part, a senior. I mean, what's the coach got to do? You know, he's one of the guys you depend on.
Right. Key's a second-year starter, too, for Boston Latin. So now the Wolfpack faced with the 1st and 20. Vasquez has now got to rush himself. Good run so far for Vasquez.
Very good job.
As he gets back to the 46-yard line.
Watch this. Get some early pressure. Does a good job to find the seam, get the opening. Goes right across to get a 14-yard gain. Good block downfield by Harris. So DeAndre, who's making his presence felt. 2 catches so far in the game, and nice block on that play.
Yeah, 14-yard gain for Vasquez, so now it's a 2nd and 6 for the Wolfpack. Hand off to Curran again. And Curran is brought down at the 48. So a gain of 2.
Yeah, Manuel Garcia came up in good shape. Takes away the sideline. You see number 5 and come in your picture. There you go. Get some help from Cruz. I'll tell you, this Latin Academy defense is still a little back on their heels there. That penalty was really tough on that 3rd and long to give up the first down, keep this drive alive for the Wolfpack.
3rd and 2 now for Boston Latin from their own 48-yard line. Vasquez looking deep down the left side for
there.
Conley, who hangs on to it. Conley to the end zone for the touchdown.
You talk about concentration, Pat. The ball literally bounced off of him. I think it bounced off his pad, but he was able to locate it, corral it, and then turn around, finish off the last 10 or so yards for the touchdown.
52-yard touchdown connection from Vasquez to Conley. 2nd touchdown of the night for the Wolfpack.
Watch how the ball bounces in the air. Yeah, it did bounce off us because the defender actually came in and took his line of vision away, stayed with it, corralled it, stayed in bounds, and was able to get inside the pylon for the touchdown. So going for 2. I said that ball was zipped. That was.
Yeah, he was on the run on that too. Vasquez looking for Conley again. That time it's batted around and falls incomplete. Vasquez now 4 for 8 through the air. Here's another look at the touchdown.
It again. That's what I'm saying. He zipped it, but he wasn't even really set. So that just shows you what kind of arm he has. Oh, actually, the defender back looks like the home looked like he got a piece of that ball. Oh, Latin Wolfpack. And it's funny, in our wrap-up last week, remember we both talked about how would this Latin Wolfpack team bounce back from that loss to O'Brien, where, like you mentioned, the athleticism of the O'Brien key ball handlers made the entire difference in that game. Even though Latin School had a bigger offensive line, they were driving the ball with their running game, but only scored the 1 touchdown.
Right.
And that's so a frustrating finish to that game, but also a good week of practice can turn everything around.
That's right. I mean, and just a couple of big plays. I mean, last week against O'Brien, it was kind of like they zipped the ball all around the field and were driving, but they never had really a huge play to score. But they got beat by big plays.
There you go. Right. Oh yeah, that's all O'Brien did.
Now it's Latin Academy. That's to Holmes, returning it from the 26. And he's brought down at the 30.
About 38. 38.
I think they mark him down around the 38, I believe.
To Holmes. Looking for a seam. Actually got.
20-yard return.
So he's marked down at the 38-yard line.
Well, 3.5 minutes to go before halftime, and I know Rocco Ziza would love to have his offense generate something before halftime. Try to get a score to make it a one-score game.
Cedric Johnson, the deep back in the backfield. Maffeo over the middle for DeHolmes, and the pass was too low.
Again, pressure. Forced him to throw that before he wanted to. The watch coming from the right side. There you go. Holmes really wasn't any opening. I mean, he was covered pretty well. Well, Zachary's the quarterback's a sophomore. Decent arm. As young quarterbacks, you have to first of all master decision making.
Now on second down, looking for Patrick Smith.
You got to wonder if from some of these patterns, they had two players right within 3 yards of each other. The Holmes and Smith. So, yeah,
I mean, that's the same route that both those guys ran right there, back to back.
One of them probably was supposed to go a little deeper.
I'm wondering, too, if the Holmes maybe was supposed to do an out so that they both would
right, yeah, there you go.
sort of run away from each other in the pattern.
That would have opened up some fields for Smith.
So third down and 10 now for Latin Academy.
Boston Latin wants the ball back. They're gonna come with some pressure now. Here comes a blitz.
Maffeo over the middle looking for Wynn. And it's a little too far out in front of him. Good effort from both the quarterback and the receiver.
But again, so you see him holding his ribs. He got hit just as he was throwing it, and that's what brought up the overthrow. Because Wynn, like you said, had some room. And watch how he gets hit. They had a blitz going on. He gets hit as soon as he puts it up there. Still got a lot of mustard on it, but just a little too far for Wynn.
Yeah, both the Maffeo twins can really stand in the pocket and throw the ball. We saw Luke Maffeo get knocked around by this Boston Latin Wolfpack defense as well.
See, it's one-on-one coverage because they came with a blitz. So lucky that the pressure was able to force that overthrow.
Duran lets this one bounce down to the 27. So Boston Latin will have 73 yards to go if they want to try to tack on another score before halftime.
And we've seen Vasquez's arm, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. I would think that they would really make an honest attempt to get another score, to really grab control of this game before halftime.
First and 10 for the Wolfpack from their 27.
Staying with the spread offense with Connolly, wide receiver to the right, single coverage. I think he's changed the play. He might have recognized the single coverage. Yep, took too long.
And now Latin Academy going to take a timeout.
Yeah, good. Vasquez
full timeout. Block.
Did the right thing because he clearly changed the play. He saw something that looked like an advantage for his team, so he got his guys on the way. And I think Latin Academy saw the exact same thing. He said, "Let's fix this. Let's maneuver some guys around." So you just have the total opposite attitude toward this last 3 minutes 10 seconds. You get you have a Wolfpack offense knows they can go deep with big chunk plays. Want to get a third score. You got the Dragons in black. I mean, they for some reason they just sort of came out flat the second quarter. Gave up a couple of big plays. Gave up 2 touchdowns, and right now they just want to sort of hold the score as it is at halftime and try to fix some things. What you said about the linebackers might be key because you are seeing how the quarterback, Vasquez, had some big runs of his own. Once he's getting past the line of scrimmage, linebackers aren't there. So maybe the inexperience has some of these younger players sort of running into the wrong areas.
Yeah, I think Latin Academy right now is probably just hoping to get to halftime to try to make some kind of adjustment.
And Connolly, other side.
Miscommunication there between Vasquez and Harris.
I'm not sure why he threw that so quick because Harris was on his way to going past the Holmes. He just picked it up in there. I think he was expecting Harris to come back.
Sometimes, too, when the cornerback is so far off the receiver, they'll just throw it to the receiver right away. Now on second down, they hand off to Curran. Make that Brenzel with the carry. Also got a flag on the play. We'll see what it is.
All right, Kevin, you're going to accept the penalty, replay the down. Offside, right end, block.
5
yards. Repeat second down.
Well, you make a good defensive play, and then you have it wiped out, and you give away some yardage. That's too bad.
The second offsides penalty we've gotten on Latin Academy.
Yeah, Senior Pizarro did come across his left end. It was actually on the opposite end where the offside was. Pizarro made a nice play to get the tackle.
Clock winds down to about 2:48 now left to go in the second quarter. 2nd and 5 now for the Wolfpack, and this time that one is thrown sky high.
We had a better chance of trying to catch that one. I think that's the man that must have slipped out of his hand. I mean, he has a strong arm, but that one was just airmailed it. So, okay, the Dragons have a chance defensively to get a stop here, force a punt. Because these incompletions are stopping the clock. So, 2:38 to go.
Third and 5 now for the Wolfpack. They hand off to Brenzel. And Ulysses can't get to the first down marker.
That's a good defensive stand there. Good job.
And coming up with the tackle was Paulino Acosta.
Yeah, Acosta made to get the penetration, and like you said, first guy there gets help. A couple of his defensive safeties on that one. So he's going to force a punt. Well, Latin's not in punt formation yet. It's a 4th and 4.
I think Latin is just letting the clock run down just to give Latin Academy the least amount of time before half.
I don't know why Latin Academy doesn't call a timeout.
So Latin School must have called a timeout right there with 1:47 left.
I think you're right, Pat. I think Rocco Ziza just wants to get his team into the locker room because they lost about 20 seconds. They could have called their own timeout, then forced the punt. We'll see if Wayne can get any kind of return. So the all-around handyman on offense and defense for the Dragons.
The Swiss Army knife, Ryan Wynn. Back to receive. Curran back to punt. This was an issue for Boston Latin last week. It's an issue again. High snap one more time. Curran's got a chance.
Lino, good job. One-on-one. Excellent tackle.
Curran is tackled at the 8-yard line.
Wow.
And
you talk about a turnaround.
My goodness, the Wolfpack are saying.
That's Pizarro. Carlos Pizarro goes back. Now watch, big fella is going to be able to corral a running back one-on-one. Good job. Yeah. Now that's just a giveaway from Boston Latin. You talk about a chance to make it a one-score game. You're not going to get a better chance than this from the Dragons.
So Dragons now at the 7-yard line.
Okay, Nathan Polnice, the wide receiver, the last one to come into the huddle. But to Holmes, split left. Going to go to I formation.
Yeah, Johnson the deep back and Smith the fullback. They hand it off to Johnson. Cedric Johnson slips a couple of tackles and is tripped up at the 4.
Good job. They got plenty of time. I formation, like you said, deep back in the eye. Cedric runs through a one-arm tackle. Little spin gives him an extra yard. You're seeing a really excited Dragons offense now. Trying to take advantage of this gift. Yeah.
This time it's Maffeo trying on the quarterback keeper. And I think he stopped right around the 1. They got to push up front.
No, he's in.
Oh, they give a touchdown to Luke
Maffeo on the opposite side of the field. Saw the ball in the end zone, so there's a sophomore quarterback.
Well, he saw the center get a really good push there.
You can't see it from this side, but it was the opposite side linesman who called the touchdown. Oh, you talk about a gift. Goodness.
2 plays, 7 yards on that touchdown drive. Maffeo punching it in for the Dragons, who just about a minute ago almost.
They were struggling. Almost went down 3 scores.
Went down 3 touchdowns. Now they're within 1 score of the game, and they're going to try for the PAT. as Lucas Suazo lines up to kick. And Suazo boots it through.
Wow.
So Suazo with the PAT cuts the lead down to 5 here with just 53 seconds left to go before halftime.
We always talk about how a football game can turn on one play. Here you have Boston Latin was trying to just run out the clock before halftime. Good defense to stand by the Latin Academy Dragons. Then, of course, that the bugaboo that we've seen 2 weeks in a row for Boston Latin. Terrible snaps. That one totally over the head of the punter, had no chance, and got tackled inside the 10-yard line. 2 plays later, we get a 5-point game.
The Dragons with the touchdown run from Zach Maffeo and the PAT, good from Suazo. So now the Wolfpack, we'll see if they try to string together a drive here with under a minute to go before halftime. That's a good kick from Suazo as Brenzel's got to field it right around the 1. Brenzel going to be dragged down inside the 5-yard line.
I don't know if Rocco Aziz is going to do this, but he has 3 timeouts left. And you have Boston Latin. Look at
you have them pinned back.
The ball, they are pinned all the way back, like you said, inside the 5-yard. This is Pizarro again. That's first guy on the scene is Garcia. Second time we've mentioned Emmanuel. I mean, there is enough room for Boston Latin just to kneel down, but 3 timeouts for the Dragons could force a 4th down.
If you're Boston Latin too, do you go under center and not do any shotguns?
Yeah, you don't want to really take. You don't want to take.
Substitution infraction, 12 minutes.
Okay, so it's going to be half the distance. Wow.
You had 12 men on the line. You broke the huddle with 12.
All right,
so Boston Latin broke
half the distance. You came on, 5 went off.
Yeah, they really are making some mental errors now. Very well explained, too. He told them, okay, you went off, the other guy came on, then you came back.
And now they can't kneel on it. They're at the
right,
1.5 yard line.
Too close, exactly. Quarterback keeper.
Smart play there from Vasquez.
Yeah.
And now Latin Academy going to call a timeout here.
That's why I mentioned that. Now, some teams wouldn't do that, but you have these guys backed up this far, especially with the mistakes they've had with this just snapping the ball. Now, they're going to stay under center, obviously, but still, give yourself a chance to possibly force a 4th down punch. Going back to shotgun, wow.
And off to Kern.
Nothing there. Another timeout for the Academy. Smart football. I mean, put all the pressure on Latin to try to make a 1st down. If you don't, you have to punt out of your own end zone.
So Latin Academy takes another timeout here. 36 seconds left to go before the half. Latin Academy with 1 timeout remaining.
And they all, in their minds, all we need to do is prevent this 3rd and 9 from being converted, and then we'll force a punt. Now we saw what happened to the last punt attempts. The ball went totally over his head. I mean, Curran did a good job to keep that ball. The punter for Latin did a good job to keep that ball out of the end zone. That could have been a total disaster. It could have been a touchdown for the Dragons. I tell you, I'm impressed with Carlos Pizarro. He is a senior, but with his size, he's actually getting around pretty well from that left end spot. Has put some pressure on Vasquez, and he was involved in that tackle on the on the botched punt. Yeah, Pizarro so far has 5 tackles and 1 sack.
Heck of a first half for Pizarro defensively. So 3rd and 8 now for the Wolfpack. You would think they would run the ball here. No, they're going to go to the air. Vasquez out-patterned to Duran, and Duran drops a football. Is that a fumble? Yes, it is. Pat Smith picks it up for a touchdown.
Wow.
I thought that should have possibly been incomplete.
That's what Conley's saying now. Conley's going to the officials now saying had to be incomplete.
There's a bang-bang play there. Now they're going to talk about it.
There's no replay, so it's going to be – it's all about this conversation that the officials have. Let's see it again. Looks like he has it. Yeah, it was close. I mean, he was able to tuck it.
Guys, if we could bring that back and take a look at that catch again.
Let's see, because it's – you're right, it happens so quickly. This is incredible. This is all happened in, the last minute and 40 seconds? Now watch it again. There's the catch. See,
1 foot, 2 feet. Yeah, that's a fumble. Yeah. He got, did a nice job of getting 2 feet down, and then there's just a nice
job,
tackle.
Guys in the truck to get that, because
heck of a replay, guys.
If they come ask us, like they're doing basketball all the time, right? They won't do it here because it's too far away, but that was the right play. That was the right call. Give credit to Manuel Garcia on the tackle. The tackle forced the fumble.
Suazo again to kick for Latin Academy. He punched the first one through after the first touchdown for the Dragons. And he boots the second one through. So Suazo.
Latin Academy. This is amazing.
I mean, this is like deja vu for Boston Latin.
Worse, because you're up 12-0. You're up 12-0 with the football. You mess up a punt attempt, a giveaway touchdown, and now this is just a good play. I'll tell you, a good play by Garcia, because the catch was made, and Garcia came in with the tackle, but he also was able to contact the football to knock it away. Then his teammate gets a free touchdown. I mean, that's the funniest part. So Patrick Smith alert enough to pick it up and take it in and get the 6 points.
Plus those two good point after attempts from Suazo puts Latin Academy on top 14-12. We'll see if those two missed extra points from Boston Latin makes a difference at the end of the game. Suazo now with a squib kick as Thompson fields it right around the 18-yard line. And he's dropped at the 19. Great coverage that time from Latin Academy.
Yeah, and this one, I'm sure Latin's just going to take a knee. This is just bizarre. That Boston Latin sideline has got to be so totally disappointed.
You see the return and a nice tackle.
Yeah, good job. Just an arm tackle in the jersey. That was some good, strong hands there.
Will Basile and Nathan Polanese combining on the tackle. And it's like Latin is just going to nail on it.
Right. Well, we were just talking 2 minutes ago. We were talking about how Rocco Ziza wants to get into the locker room. Now,
Coach Butler
and the
Wolfpack definitely want to head into the locker room.
Let's end this right now. 12-0 lead. Now you're going in behind 14-12. We see a lot of crazy things in high school football.
Man, that was a crazy first half we had here at White Stadium.
Well, actually, just a crazy second quarter, because the first quarter,
no score, right. So Latin Academy on top 14-12 here at the half. And we were just saying before, just a couple of minutes ago, it was Boston Latin who was up 12-0.
Just think about at 12-0. If 2 minutes ago you go get a sandwich, right? You come back and say, "Oh, this guy got the wrong score up there."
Right. Did somebody hit the button by accident?
There you go.
2 point lead now for Latin Academy, and those 2 extra points could come into play later on in the game. Boston Latin, once again, just like last week, they're driving the ball up and down the field, but a couple of big mistakes, one on special teams, and then a couple high snaps have really hurt them. And it's the same thing we saw last week with this Wolfpack team. They're doing it again here tonight.
Well, the difference tonight is at least they've been able to convert 2 of their good drives.
True.
Beautiful pass, Vasquez to Connolly. And so from that standpoint, their confidence is definitely is up because they put the 2 scores up. But I think right now in that Boston Latin locker, somebody else is snapping the football.
Right.
Because you've got to make an adjustment. Either that or you have to go back to the one under the center.
Sure, which is not the normal offense that the
all.
Wolfpack runs. All right, sideline reporter Seth Orensky is down on the field, one of the coaches. Seth, take it away.
Joined by Boston Latin coach Ray Butler. Coach, we'll talk about the positives, everything but the last 2 minutes. Your team was able to move the ball down the field on 3 of your drives. You held them to 33 yards. How do you keep the focus for your young guys on that rather than the fact that you're down by 2 at half?
Well, we got to just focus on doing it, continue to do the things that we were doing right and kind of let the other stuff go. Made a mistake, got to learn from it.
Special teams obviously cost you a little bit late there, and then that, was it a catch, was it not a catch? Either way, you find yourself down by 2. What's the biggest point of emphasis for you guys in the second half?
Better decision making. Like, you got young guys making bad decisions, then old guys make bad decisions. So overall, we have to make better decisions, like from top to bottom.
Finally, it's the 2 Latins, and it's a great crowd on both sides. Does this feel a little bit like a rivalry game, even though it's only the second meeting?
Oh, it's definitely a rivalry. Everyone knows each other, and all the exam schools are now playing, so it's a great rivalry between all 3 schools now.
Coach, good luck in the second half. Guys, take it away.
Thanks very much, Seth. And Coach Butler, always classy with us, always looking to do an interview, but you can tell he's not very happy right now.
Oh, disappointment. I mean, it's like you said. The problem is the bad decisions. It's not just the young guys. It's also his seniors.
Sure, you had a couple seniors commit some penalties.
So what can you do? I mean, it's one of those situations where you got to, as hard as it sounds, you got to tell your guys to calm down.
Right.
I mean, they're excited. They're anxious. They're over anxious now because they're behind. But they did a good job to They earned that 12-0 lead, and they had a chance to get more. Unable to punch it in, and then the mistakes start piling up, and so it's more of a mental game now for Latin.
No question.
The Latin Academy Dragons is more of a physical game.
Sure.
But for Boston Latin, it's all mental right now.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Zizi, you're probably saying, okay, we're lucky to be up by 2 points right now. We have to execute better in the second half.
Most definitely, and I think he's definitely going to say we're lucky, but he's also going to say, but look what can happen when you stay with the plays. Because there were some good plays on both sides of the football. And like I said, go back to Pizarro, the big defensive ends, who was able to corral a tricky running back who's a puncher inside the 10-yard line to set up that touchdown.
No question. We'll see what kind of adjustments these 2 teams make after seeing a lot of mistakes by both squads in the first half. We'll see what they can do in the second half here at White Stadium. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime stats and a couple of highlights from the first half before we get going in the third quarter here on Game of the Week from White Stadium in Jamaica Plain. Make sure you stick around.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it. First time I tried Viking, and it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are,
Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything. His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain. We're at the half here on Game of the Week. Latin Academy leading the Boston Latin Wolfpack 14-12 after a couple of crazy plays to end the second quarter. And, Alan, I mean, if you're Boston Latin, are you just saying, it's basically 0-0 coming out in the third quarter?
That's exactly what you're saying. I mean, you're discouraged, you're a little frustrated, but you're also angry. You're angry at yourself. And that's and a lot of coaches will tell you, I want my football players angry at each other. So they're going to go out, play together, and play better. We talked, just talked to Coach Butler, and he was trying to be calm.
Sure.
Because I'm sure he's going to tell his guys, listen, we got to relax. Go back to what we were doing. We had control of this game, a 12-0 lead, and we were driving. We could have made a 3-score game. Didn't do that. Instead, we allowed the coin to flip all the way over. Now we're down by 2. But Latin did enough good things in that first half that they should feel pretty good. Myself, even though Vasquez throws the ball so well, I think his running is going to be key in the second half.
That was a surprise in the first half.
Yeah, he did on one of their touchdown drives. He had the key play of the drive on what was actually a broken play because it was a bad snap, high snap. He tucked it in, had a huge gain for a first down to set up that long touchdown pass.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats here for both squads as we get ready to start the third quarter. And first up, it's going to be Boston Latin.
Most of this was done in the second quarter. Before that bizarre last 3 minutes, Curran 48 yards. Brenzel had the one touchdown, 34 yards on 7 carries. Receiving, Conley had that big 53-yard touchdown, bobbling act, juggling. Duran had 2 catches for 19 yards. Vasquez, like I said, 88 yards, 5 for 11 with that big touchdown to Conley.
Let's take a look at Latin Academy stats.
Latin Academy.
Not
now,
all there.
This, I was just going to say, not like much there, but even though it's not much, it all happened in the last 2 minutes.
That's right.
You have Maffeo, had the touchdown on that quarterback keeper, Souffet. Then you have Smith. Not much rushing because, and again, this is where the frustration from Boston Latin comes. Defensively, they're playing really well. Wynn had the 16-yard catch, and that's the same catch that Maffeo threw, and that's it. I mean, you had the special teams play on the punt that Pizarro was able to give them that set up that quarterback keeper. Then you had the crazy catch, fumble, pickup, touchdown defensively.
That's right.
All of a sudden, 14-12.
Well, one player that did play well for Boston Latin, as we mentioned, is Devin Vasquez. We'll see some of the throws he made here in the first half.
He's on tonight. This is the big play I was talking about. He caught that, was able to pull it down, and then put together a huge run down the middle. Nice pass again. See, and what I like about him, when he tucks it, to me, he's not trying to just fall down.
Yeah, there's that long touchdown there to Joe Conley that put Boston Latin School up 12-0.
Thank you. Wait, which one is which? Look for the ones that you know. That's ours.
So Boston Latin Academy will be receiving. Boston Latin School going to kick to start the third quarter.
Yeah, Academy has a chance to continue this scoring for the end of the first half.
Trying to get the clock set here, and now they have 11 minutes. Vasquez with the kick that's fielded right around the 20-yard line this time by Ryan Wynn. Looking for some space, slips a tackle. Ryan Wynn still on his feet up to the 43. 23-yard kickoff return for Ryan Wynn. So Latin Academy with good field position here to start the third quarter. We'll see if they can get some kind of drive going. They haven't really been able to sustain anything offensively, string together any plays. As
they haven't had to. They've had the big plays on defense and special teams.
First down and 10 now for the Latin Academy Dragons from their own 43-yard line. Handoff on first down to Smith. He's got a big hole over the left side, and Patrick Smith makes his way past midfield up to the Boston Latin 49-yard line.
Well, like you said, this is one of their biggest runs of the game so far. Patrick does a good job getting outside before he's run down by Brenzel. Is that Curran? Curran, sorry.
So 8-yard pickup there for Patrick Smith, easily their biggest play of the game so far on offense. 2nd and 2, now it's Maffeo going to take it on the quarterback keeper and make his way up to the 46-yard line. First down, Latin Academy.
You can see Latin Academy a little bit more of a dive off the ball. In the first half, the line was getting beat on most of those plays, and the running back had just had no room to run. That time, a very safe quarterback keep to get the first down, keep the drive alive.
First down from the 46 for Latin Academy. The handoff to Smith again, and Smith is met at the 44. So a short pickup there on first down. Picked up about 2.
The Latin Academy is doing what they want. They have the 2-point lead. They want to go back to their ground game. Last week there was a disparity in the sizes of the lines between O'Brien and Boston Latin. There's not that much of a difference tonight, as Latin Academy's offensive line also has some size.
They fake the handoff on second down. Maffeo looking down the right side for Wynn. Great adjustment by Ryan Wynn. Brought down at the 4.
You talk about an adjustment between 2 safeties.
Here we got to go look at it as ball once again thrown up pretty high. It's not necessarily a laser down the field, but Wynn makes a great adjustment. So 39-yard connection from Maffeo to Wynn here with under 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and Latin Academy knocking on the doorstep. On first down, they give it to Smith, and he is wrapped up at the 2. He might have fumbled the ball. Latin School is saying they have it. Boston Latin is saying they've recovered the football. It's going to stay with Latin Academy.
Got injured.
Yeah, down on the field right now is Phidias Soto of Latin Academy. As he'll be attended to. Looks like he's grabbing, he might have a cramp. He looks like he's grabbing his calf right now. Yeah, it looks like a cramp to me. We'll take a look at another replay of the catch here by Ryan Wynn. He's tracking the ball in the air there, and then Duran slips a little bit trying to recover, and Wynn just makes a great play as Brenzel brings him down inside the 5-yard line. So Latin Academy now faced with a 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line, rather. See what the Dragons try to do here. They've run a couple of times with Maffeo, just a quarterback sort of keeper draw, however you want to call it. He just punches it forward, and he's been able to pick up a couple of yards
he has good
with
size.
that kind of play.
He definitely has good size and strength.
This time they hand it off up the middle, nowhere to go for the Dragons.
But like you said, Pat, this is just the kind of drive that the Dragons want to try to take control of the game. Snuck that long pass in there to Wynn.
Now, if you're at Boston Latin School, you're probably saying to yourself, we need a goal line stand right here.
No doubt, no doubt.
And that could turn the tide a little bit, because a goal line stand is almost, it's not as big as a touchdown offensively on the defensive side, but it's a huge
emotional jolt. It is, definitely.
Big-time jolt for the defense. 3rd and goal now for Latin Academy. They hand off to Smith. He bounces to the outside.
Wow.
Susic there for the tackle.
Job.
Or Dadish, excuse me, Anthony Dadish out of the defensive end.
Read that perfectly. Comes across. Oh, fights off the block. He's actually being blocked by Merrick. Robert Merrick had a decent block on him. He just sort of threw Merrick aside and came across and throw the running back for a loss.
Dadish last week started at tight end and defensive end. And then this week, Coach Butler wanted him more on the defensive side of the ball, so he let Jake Leonardo start at tight end. And then Dadish playing more defense tonight. Came up with a huge play right there. So 4th and goal now for Latin Academy, right around the 5-yard line. Here comes Maffeo rolling to his right. He's going to tuck it in and run. No, he's going to throw it over the middle. Great job by Harris to deflect the pass as Maffeo was looking for Wynn.
There's the stop you're talking about, Pat. Goal line stand.
You see Maffeo going to the end zone as Harris is there to deflect the pass.
And again, Harris didn't play last week. This week, he's really making up for it.
Yeah, like we said earlier, Coach Butler wanted some more athleticism, not just on the offensive side, but on the defensive side as well. You saw Harris able to drift back and deflect that pass. We'll see if that's a spark for this Latin Wolfpack team. On first down, it's Brenzel again, and Brenzel with a short carry. We haven't seen a lot of Curran getting carries here late in the second quarter and at the start of the third quarter. We've seen him defensively, but offensively they've been going to Brenzel most of the time.
On defense, he's been a beast, but you're right. Brenzel is been the workhorse. We'll see if that continues. But we just want to punch out some room so they can let Vasquez put the ball in the air again.
Just a 1-yard pickup on first down. Second down now. Vasquez going to go to the air. And over the middle.
Ball comes out. I think it's incomplete.
Yeah, he's looking for. That's Leonardo, the tight end right there. But he got separated from the football after a big-time hit over the middle for Latin Academy. I think that was Chris Collegian with the tackle.
You can see the spark back in this Latin Academy Dragon defense. Big third down here, 3rd and 9. Sorry, folks, if I don't get that frog out of my throat.
Vasquez over the right side, way too high for Harris. So it'll be 4th down now for Latin Academy. So they get the goal line stand, but they're going to have to punt.
Punt from their own end zone.
Deep in their own territory.
Yeah, he threw that one for, looked like he might have rushed a little bit because there wasn't much, he had good protection. There wasn't much pressure at all. The Dragons had dropped back in coverage.
Curran back to punt. Better snap this time as Curran gets a line drive punt fielded by Wynn. He drops it right around the 38. And Wynn is then brought down at the 33.
What would you call him, a Swiss Army knife? He's a really good player.
He is.
He's really versatile. Watch how the ball's wet, still able to keep it from bouncing away. And just instantaneously up and going upfield.
27-yard punt and just an 8-yard return, so a net of 19 yards. So Latin Academy again with great field position.
You talk about players development. I think I remember Wynn being a special teams guy as a sophomore.
Right.
Running up and down, first guy down, and a couple of decent returns, but now he's like their main offensive weapon.
He was also, I believe, the backup quarterback a couple of years ago, and then moved to receiver. Handoff to Smith, and that's a tough run for him up to the 25, breaking some tackles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, shedding some tackles. Arm tackling by Boston Latin's not going to get it done. Here's Smith. Not a lot of size, but you keep those legs churning. There you see running through that tackle. Nice gain. Always want to get more than 5 yards on first down. This Rocco Ziza feeling a lot better than he was
no question
in the first half.
Well, I hope nobody turned this game off with 2 minutes to go before halftime.
I'm telling you, someone missed those 2 touchdowns. I'm telling you that.
They give it to Smith again. Another nice hole for him as he makes his way inside the 20, down to the 16.
Yeah, none of this was happening in the first half. Just like we saw at the halftime stats. Very little from the offense, but now the emotion has swung totally over to the Latin Academy side.
Just 8 yards in the first half for Smith. He's now got 17 here, to a little past the midway point of the third quarter. So Pat Smith getting it done here in the second half, now on first down from the 16-yard line. That's Wynn in motion. They give it to Smith again, and Smith's got a hole. Pat Smith inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's dropped at the 5-yard line or shoved out of bounds at the 5.
And he has a defensive touchdown, too, on the fumble. Right. Good hard run, slant play, runs through Curran. And safety has to push him out of bounds.
Yeah, Brenzel shoves him out of bounds at the 5, but it's a 1st and goal now for Latin Academy. Coach Butler wants to tie him out. He's really got to talk to his guys and say, we got to get this goal line stand again.
Yeah, I think he's really frustrated because you're seeing these are the exact same plays that the Dragons were running in the first half, and they were virtually getting nothing out of it.
You also, when you're Coach Butler, too, you're starting to think, okay, we had a goal line stand, then we went 3 and out again. Is this team starting to kind of look down and starting to kind of feel like they keep shoveling against the tide?
Very good point, because he wants to make sure the body language is right, make sure his guys keep those heads up.
That's right.
At all times.
Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeek Boston. A lot of good stuff up on our Facebook page, so make sure you like it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, also use the hashtag BostonGOW.
Well, obviously a swing point in this game. 4:09 to go in the third quarter. A Latin Academy touchdown would put them up by either 8 or 9 points, which would make it a 9-point lead. Would be a 2-score game.
They hand it off to Smith again from the 5. Smith to the end zone. Touchdown, Latin Academy. Heck of a drive from Pat Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, in the first half, I was talking about how the Latin Academy Dragons offensive line wasn't really giving much help. But on this drive, Smith did have plenty of room. On that last one, he actually followed Patrick Smith, who's 79. He 79.
4 carries for Smith the whole way, 31 yards for him, including that 5-yard touchdown run. So now it's Suazo for the other PAT, and he boots it through.
That one's good, too. Now, the key to that, Pat, like I just said, a 9-point lead now makes it a 2-score game. So here we've had Latin Academy from the 3-minute mark of the first half go from a 12-point deficit, trailing 12-0. Now they lead 21-12. They're flying high. They are flying high on both sides of the football.
I mean, you look at this, it's about 9 minutes of game time that have flipped the script, and they've scored 21 points in those 9 minutes to completely shift this game. And like you said, Alan, now it's 2 scores that Latin Academy needs. And that's where there's those two missed extra points are going to come in.
The conversions that neither one the Wolfpack could get. But you still get that quarterback arm. Vasquez is out there with that rifle.
And a lot of receivers to catch the ball. Good kick from Suazo that's fielded right around the 12 by Brenzel. Brenzel now looking for some space. Good run by Brenzel, who's still on his feet. Then he's dragged down at the 37.
A little deception on that as they faked the reverse handoff, and Brazil tacked off a very nice return. 24 yards. Good starting point for this Latin offense.
You see some young fans join tonight's game. As we said, we got a great crowd here at White Stadium. We haven't seen White Stadium
I can't remember
with this many people at it in a long time.
It's amazing.
I mean, a lot of times that Thanksgiving, East Boston, South Boston game,
if you're
a few years ago, we had decent weather.
Right.
But this is the most full I've seen White Stadium in a while.
The schools and the athletic department are loving this.
Curran on first down. And the big tailback drives his way up to the 42. Make that the 41. So
you have to
like a 4-yard pickup.
You have to like this about Boston Latin. And, I mentioned Coach Butler would talk about calm down. That's Smith down.
Down again. Before he had that shoulder injury.
He just had that nice offensive burst. He had all the carries for that touchdown, the last touchdown drive.
And like we mentioned before, not a lot of linebackers.
He's in the Pennsylvania right now.
On this Latin Academy team.
Well, it might just be a cramp. They give him the cramp stretch. So
yeah, you don't do that if you hurt your knee.
Yeah,
so
hopefully that's all it is. I mean, cramps feel bad, but they're not that serious.
Yeah, they're temporary.
Right.
You know, one thing about this nice weather and everything, sometimes I think players think they don't have to hydrate because it's a little bit cooler tonight.
When you're young, you don't have to do that much.
It rained all week, but
right.
You gotta hydrate. You gotta hydrate.
Absolutely right. Oh yeah, definitely a cramp. You see him walking off now.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky, who's got an update. Seth, what do you have?
Guys, Patrick Smith looks like he's cramping after that last play. Problem is he's a two-way player, and he's been dominating in the running game. The other thing is their freshman running back, who we thought would see 5 to 6 touches, he was injured in the first quarter. So if Smith continues to cramp, this could be a real problem for Boston Latin Academy.
Thanks very much, Seth, as Curran gets the carry again on second down and fights his way forward for about a 1 yard. He's about a yard away from the first down marker at the 46.
You see Smith getting stretched out. You know he wants to get back, and he's an offensive touchdown, a defensive touchdown. He definitely wants to get back in there.
5-yard pickup on the play, bringing up 3rd and 1.
A little confusion here with Conley and Vasquez. Conley's had one-on-one coverage up pretty much all night.
Curran again with the carry, gets the first down, and then is driven back. But a 3-yard pickup there for Curran on first down.
See, this is where you might see Latin go to the air to try to get a big chunk play. Good job by Curran to make sure you get that first down. Curran playing both sides of the football. Has 11 tackles defensively, and also has having a good night rushing the ball with 69 yards.
On first down, Vasquez over the right side, got his receiver, Harris.
Good job by Harris. Nice. We talk about adjustments. He came back for that football. Cornerback had his back turned. But watch how you see Harris come back for this right there. Able to get away from the safety before the cornerback comes back, Garcia, to make the tackle.
So Harris is brought down to 20.
All because they ran so well. You have those defensive backs creeping up to the line of scrimmage to try to make a tackle.
Now on first down, it's Curran again, and he gets to about the 19. So Curran so far with a good drive, plowing forward after that big pickup by Harris.
Well, we're seeing both offensive lines start to take control. As this Boston Latin offensive line, it gave Vasquez good time to get that last completion, and now the rest of this drive has been all running.
2nd and 5 now for the Wolfpack. Vasquez. He's got some time. Now he's got to roll to his right. He's just got to throw it incomplete.
Had some room. He was able to roll out to create some more time for himself. A little surprised he didn't tuck that under and try to run it, because he had been running so well in that first half.
So Vasquez in the last play got out of the pocket, threw it back to the line of scrimmage. So now 3rd and 5, the handoff to Brenzel, and he's going to be stopped short. Just a 1-yard pickup, so it'll be 4th and 4.
That was good alertness by that Dragon defense, as everyone was expecting a pass, but instead that quick handoff was not able to get the yardage. Good job, Kalajian, Christopher, one of the seniors for Latin Academy, making that tackle. So 4th and 5. Okay.
4th and 4 now for Latin School. Vasquez over the middle, nice wide catch. Open is Duran
your guy.
To the 4.
Yeah. Ball was a little behind him, but made the adjustment. Nice catch, and made sure he didn't drop this one. Excellent job.
Ryan Wynn coming up with a stop, and now Latin School with a 1st and goal from the 4-yard line.
Quarterback draw might be effective here. I think Latin Academy is going to take a timeout. Yeah, defense wants, defensive coaches want to just give some reminders. You know, stay with your keys. Do not overreact to the football. This drive for Boston Latin, they've done a really good job mixing up the plays. They used the pass when they had to get the key first down, that fourth down play. The pass to Harris after they'd run the ball 4 straight times. So now you really have this Dragon defense guessing what's coming, and I think that's what the timeout was for. Don't overreact and get beat.
Vasquez now with 132 yards through the air.
He's going to have a whole lot more than that.
That's right, because they're going to continue to sling it.
Tell you.
Wolfpack now with a 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Brenzel almost gets tackled in the backfield and might have picked up a yard on 1st down. And I think that's going to end.
Without into the third quarter.
And that is going to do it for the 3rd quarter here at White Stadium as the Latin Academy Dragons, with a 9-point lead over the Boston Latin Wolfpack. Pat Smith with a big-time touchdown in that drive. Boston Latin looking for a touchdown drive of their own. We're right back with the 4th quarter here on Game of the Week. Do not go away, folks.
We just finished dinner, and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain as we're just about set to go in the 4th quarter here at White Stadium on Game of the Week. Latin Academy on top of Boston Latin School 21-12. Folks, next week we're going to be right back here at White Stadium. Tech Boston taking on this Latin Academy Dragons team, also a big-time rivalry here in the city. It's going to be live on Boston City TV. If you got Comcast, it's channel 24. You got RCN, it's channel 13. Now Verizon's in Boston, and that's channel 1962. Boston Latin Wolfpack getting ready for a 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Looking to answer that Latin Academy touchdown drive late in the 3rd. Pass over the middle. Touchdown, Duran. Zach Duran with the catch for the Wolfpack.
Simple slant play. All Duran wants to do is get in front of his defender, and Vasquez put it right on the money. Safety. 1 step late coming up.
Another player down for Latin Academy. That looks like it's Ryan Wynn.
Might be Wynn. Wow. He's not grabbing anything, which is usually a good sign. It might just be cramps and exhaustion. Like you mentioned, dehydration. Yes, Washington see that this is a simple slant play, very safe play. All the receiver has to do is get in front of the defender. That was Wynn. Okay, that's what happened.
That does not look good.
Well, the way he's not really getting, I mean, I think he has cramps in maybe both legs. Actually, when Duran was diving, he actually might have kicked Wynn, too. And on the replay, it looked like there might have been some kind of contact. But give Boston Latin credit. I mean, there's as much frustration as they had in that 2nd quarter and 3rd quarter. They were able to get a couple of defensive stops, and now they get themselves back within 1 if they can make this 2-point conversion.
I think you're right, Alan, on that Wynn injury. They're stretching out both his legs, try to work out the cramps.
That's not unusual. I mean, because he was trying to recover to get in front of Duran, but Duran made a really nice play. And he faked going to the outside, cut right back in for the slant, and all you got to do is get your body in front of the defender.
Wolfpack now in the 2-point conversion, again over the middle, and that time it's broken up. On the touchdown pass, it was Phidias Soto, number 51, who the pass
missed
went through his arms.
That's right.
That time he made sure the pass didn't get through.
Not get me twice. Good play. Yeah, there you go. And like you said before, continues the pattern. No conversions for Boston Latin.
Meanwhile, on the other side for Latin Academies, there you see Wynn getting worked out there. So it's definitely cramps. But with Latin Academy, especially in high school football, we certainly don't see a lot of good kickers in the city very much.
Thinking
Lucas
about field goal?
Well, I'm saying Suazo.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
the
true.
PAT is an automatic right now.
Yeah, they have been. You're right.
You know, you go for the 2-point conversion and you don't always get it. I mean, Suazo's been automatic.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon. He's the difference in the game right now. Yeah. So now both teams are sort of on edge because we're back to a 3-point game.
11-play, 63-yard drive for the Latin Wolfpack, and it ends in a Duran touchdown. Another mistake from Boston Latin. That's going to be an illegal procedure penalty. We'll see what Latin Academy wants, if they want him to re-kick or if they'll take the penalty.
Yeah, they're
And we got our answer.
Illegal procedure. Kicking team, 5 yards, re-kick.
They have, see, Latin Academy has the Holmes back, and we know he's a speedy returner. I think they want to give him a chance with some open field. Looked like Latin. It wasn't really a squib kick, but it was just one of those floaters that you try to get over the front line of blockers in front of the actual receivers. Sometimes you can get lucky with a funny bounce, and your return guys can speed down there and possibly recover it. Same idea, this time a little better.
Johnson fields it right around the 24. Johnson to the sideline, and he's shoved out of bounds right around the 46-yard line.
Yeah, Cedric hasn't had many touches today, but did a good job that time. Tacking on a 21-yard return. Like the way he tucks the ball up there. High and tight. Puts his team in an excellent position to start this drive.
The winning number is 392-046.
The Latin Academy with a 3-point lead and now very good field position at their own 46-yard line. Smith back in there as the lead back, and he gets the carry on first down.
Crunched on that one. Wow. That was ebb and flow of the game. Was that Harris? Looks like Harris came
Harris
up.
in there, and also the big fella, Johan Stavery.
Interesting. We talked about how the Latin Academy defense was flying around after they took that 2-point lead. Now we're seeing the Wolfpack knowing they're only down by 3, and there's plenty of time left, 10 minutes to go in the game.
2nd and 8 now for the Dragons. Once again, they send Wynn in motion. It's Smith trying to get to the corner. Nice. He does.
Good cutback. Now you see how those Wolfpack players are going for the ball? The first guy's making the tackle. Second and third guys are coming in trying to punch the ball out. Good chance to see it here. It's going outside. The current going for it. He's just trying to actually rip it away.
So a 4-yard pickup there on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and 4 for the Dragons. Latin Academy going to Smith once more again.
Hey, good to see him bounce back from those cramps.
3rd and 4 now for the Dragons. Get some early movement. And now it's Maffeo trying to fight forward. He's about a yard short of the first down. Actually got a little more than I thought he would there. That was sort of, it looked almost like a broken play.
He's listed as 5'10", but he looks longer. Maybe
he does.
Taller. Then when he leans like that, it's a decent gain. 4th and 1. Good chance. I'd run the same play. I mean,
Pat Smith now on the bench as he has been banged up so far in this game, so he's had to sit right now.
Get some liquids back.
4th and 1. Johnson, the deep back for the Dragons.
Yep,
like you said, Alan, right. Maffeo leans forward, first down.
All he has to do is just find a little bit of space and just dive.
That's
smart play.
Fourth down play that Tom Brady does so well. You see in the
pay
field.
to that exactly. He goes up and surveys, and okay, there's a little bit of a gap there. I'm going to get the shoulder pads in there. Still plenty of time though. 8:17 to go. You have a first down in Latin territory for the Dragons of Latin Academy. 3-point lead for the Dragons in black.
First down and 10. Dragons. 43-yard line.
On first down from the 43, it's Johnson with the carry. Big-time penetration from the Wolfpack. Stavery.
Had a blitz. That's, you know, Pat, you talked about the adjustment that Daddish has made. And he's a defensive end pretty much, but every once in a while they'll move him around and send him on a blitz.
Yeah, Daddish drove Planillo Acosta back there.
Two-yard loss.
So 2nd and 12 now for the Dragons. This time they run the end around to Wynn. Wynn's got some space.
Good block.
Ryan Wynn fights his way forward up to the 33-yard line. It's going to be a first down for Latin Academy.
Well, we talked about this in the open. This is only the second time we've actually seen Wynn on this end around. Good time for it because you had the Latin defense all bunched in the middle.
Almost lost the football there.
Good job. See, every tackle you're seeing a Latin Wolfpack player go for the football.
0-0-2. You can pick up your prize at the 50-50 raffle table. First and 10, Dragons.
You wonder if they would take a chance to throw it downfield because they have one-on-one coverage.
Johnson gets wrapped up by Harris after a gain of 2.
I tell you, it's so tempting. If you're an offensive coordinator, it's really tempting. But they just get blocked on that play and came back in to help out. Harris has had a good quarter defensively. Had a couple of nice catches, and you can see a difference. Like now, I'm thinking back to the first game last week. He would have made a big difference in that game against
No
O'Brien.
question. No question. I mean, he's made some plays, like you said, defensively, along with a couple of catches on offense. 2nd down and 8 now, and it's Johnson with the carry. And Johnson picks up a good gain here on 2nd
Still
down.
running. He pushed the pile. Little fella.
Fights his way up to the 24. So Johnson, the senior.
He's only listed at 155, but he actually moved that pile. Now, part of this is because the Latin defenders are going for the football, so they're not actually making your normal tackles. So they're wrapping up, and they're trying. The strategy is, you see it a lot in a game like this, the first tackle, a defender tries to stand up the ball carrier. Teammate can come in and go grapple for the football.
Maffeo on the quarterback keeper again on 3rd and short, and he picks up the first down.
This is a good drive. Tucks it in first, takes a hit. Wow, they kept on plowing. He's coming to get the play and shaking his head. He took a pop in the helmet. You see the sideline for Boston Latin. They know that this time is sliding away. You got to figure out when you're going to start using your timeouts.
Yeah, they have all 5. They haven't. I'm sorry.
They have 4.
Each team has used 1 here in the second half, so they each have 4.
Normally in a situation, when you're on defense, you wait for a 3rd down because you still need 1 or 2 for your offense.
Hand off to Johnson,
good defensive
Stavery
play.
comes up for the tackle.
Yeah, that's a key play. Stavery, good job, and because it's thrown for a loss, Latin's going to use timeout now. They don't have to wait for the 3rd down because on this first down play, they threw him for a loss. So now you're creating a 2nd and about 11. Save some time right here. Now, we've seen Latin blitz in different situations. I wouldn't be surprised to see one coming here. The Dragons have no reason in the world to take a chance putting the ball in the air, so you can do what they call a run blitz. And we've seen the linebackers come. Haven't really seen a safety come yet, but anything's possible at this point. They want to obviously get stops, get the ball back on downs. Checking the time out.
9.
So it should be 4. Yeah, it should be 4 on 9 because the timeout was called right after the tackle. Boston Latin with that timeout. Now they should have 3 left now. Yeah, 4 on 9. He's trying to get. I'm not sure. They might just decide to hold the clock if it's too difficult to make the adjustment. Here you see you score 21-18. The time should be 4 on 9.
They're still waiting for.
There you go. Okay, there you go. So now this actually helps the defense because they can get a breather. They can decide what they want to do if they do want to take a chance and send some extra tacklers into the backfield. Risky, but we're down to 4 minutes to go, so
it's getting down to time we have to do that.
Coach Butler's figuring, okay, I know I have enough on offense to put a drive together, but we got to get the ball to give them some time and at least a couple of timeouts. So this play here is important because it's only a second down, but it's important because Latin wants to keep the Dragons from creating a 3rd and short situation.
Turn to the right.
So let's see if.
On Cedar Street, to the right, where traffic will be directed towards Humboldt Avenue.
So 2nd down and 11 now for Latin Academy. 4:09 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Dragons up by 3. And Pat Smith back in there as the tailback. The handoff to Smith. He slips a couple of tackles, and Smith's on his feet.
Good job by
Smith up to the 18-yard line. So what should have been probably a stop at the line of scrimmage.
You called that one perfectly, Pat. He slipped 2 tackles right there. Finally, you had, who was that, Curran? Yeah, Curran came in to make a tackle, but it's a 3rd and 7. This is where, if there's a stop, if they can prevent the 1st down, Latin will call another timeout. We know it's a big crowd. We got the PA guy giving directions on how people should leave the stadium. That's usually not a problem.
3rd and 6, and they run the end around to Wind again. Ryan Wynn with a great cut up the middle. Touchdown, Latin Academy Dragons. Great play call from Rocco Ziza and the coaching staff.
And a great run by Wynn. Wow, he stopped on a dime. The defenders looked like they had him with an angle, but watch how he stops and starts. Here he comes. Watch the left of your screen. Right here, see those guys going for the angle. He stops, cuts right back in. No one touched him. Now that's the way you want to finish off with a clock-killing drive.
That puts Latin Academy up by 9. Suazo now out there for the point after. High snap this time, so Suazo's going to have to do something with it, and Latin Academy just falls on it.
I don't think Suazo really wanted the football. Just watch this touchdown again. An amazing cutback. Now remember, he just 3 minutes ago had 2 cramps in both legs. Cuts right there, and we know he has speed.
Yeah, apparently there's plenty of water on the Latin Academy sideline.
Obviously, right, and the trainers did a good job to. Excuse me.
So, Win with that touchdown.
Rub out those cramps. Hey. We always joke about the magic of youth, but it's very real.
Yes.
It's very real.
The recovery time for these guys is a lot quicker than
I'll tell you,
us guys.
Anybody older would still be on the sideline. Because it's a mild night, but it's humid, it's damp, and like you said, even though you don't feel thirsty, you've got to keep hydrated.
You got to hydrate, especially when you get all those pads on too. Your body temperature gets hotter. So Latin Academy fields it inside the 20, and Brenzel makes his way up to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, we're going to see Vasquez's arm now. Now, it's interesting. We've been talking about how Connolly has had single coverage pretty much the entire game. Would not be surprised to see Vasquez going to his side now. He had that 53-yard touchdown catch on the bobbling recovery. So, we'll see the safety's coming over now. So they're see Vasquez looking at both sides.
On first down, Vasquez over the middle. He's got a wide open receiver as Will Marchie comes up with the catch.
It's going to be a fun finish because Vasquez has that arm warmed up. And we know he can get downfield. Just a matter of if his receivers can find some open space.
Now on first down, the handoff to Curran, and Paul Curran to the sideline. Curran inside the 20. He's dragged out of bounds right around the 15.
Smart play by Curran. It's a slant run, sort of the Dragons by surprise. You see him hitting the sideline. Who was that? Cedric came out of bounds. Yeah, Johnson.
31-yard run there for Paul Curran. So now
That's just as good as a pass.
That's right. Yeah. And he's out of bounds, so that completely stops the clock. 2:40 left to go in the fourth. First down now from the 15. Vasquez over the middle. He's got Duran, and he's short of the end zone.
Oh, no,
he's a yard short.
Oh, his knee went down, yeah.
He's a yard short.
Boy, yeah,
clock
that
should
was
stop.
Again, that was a – watch the zip in there. Yep, just short. Wow. We got to go on the center and just sneak this.
Wolfpack moves right down the field. Clock now winding as –
and they still have 3 timeouts left. This has got to be Vasquez. Yeah.
And Vasquez punches it in himself for the touchdown. 53-second drive from the Boston Latin Wolfpack.
Well, that was the key thing. We talked about as if Vasquez, with that big body of his, we talked about how that touchdown by Wynn looked like it put the game out of reach, but we know that Vasquez can get the ball downfield.
So Wolfpack now trying for the 2-point conversion. They haven't gotten it all night. Vasquez to the right side, and it's broken
Good
up.
Defense. Good
Looking
defense.
for Harris. And it looked like it might have been Manuel Garcia coming up with the deflection.
Watch the pass, zips it in there, but the defense, really good coverage. Good coverage. That was Garcia again.
So still a 3-point game here. 2:09 left to go in the fourth quarter. Boston Latin, you would think, would be getting set for an onside kick.
Or a squib or a pooch. I mean, some kind of irregular kick to give your coverage guys a chance to recover it.
Now, like you mentioned, they still have 3 timeouts.
That's the key. That's the key.
If they can prevent Latin Academy from a good return, they get them down to, like, say, the 30, 35, and they stop them.
Then
Latin Academy's probably going to punt on 4th down. A lot of choices to be made in this last 2:09.
When you have a quarterback with a good arm, you pretty much can keep yourself in the game. Oh, he kicks away. Wow.
Deep kick.
Huh.
Inside the 10-yard line. This is going to be a touchback. Johnson's going to try to bring it back himself. Cedric Johnson gets tripped up at the 12. And I think Coach Z's is going to have to pull Cedric Johnson aside. Not the greatest decision there from Cedric Johnson.
To put it lightly. He thought he was going to catch the covers guys off balance.
He did at first and almost broke something there. But, I mean, in this situation.
You don't want to be in your 12-yard line. Right. You'd rather be at the 20.
So this is exactly what Boston Latin School needed here.
And you mentioned the 3 timeouts, so it's all up to the defensive players for Latin. They've got to keep the Dragons backed up at all costs, no first down. Meanwhile, the opposite, obviously, for the Dragons, all we need is 1 first down.
Handoff to Smith. Big hole for Patrick Smith. He's dragged down at the 29.
Well, I'll tell you, as funny as it sounds, that play doesn't really make any difference because the situation's the same. The clock stops, and Latin has to, they don't have to use a timeout. So the key is that they got to do the same thing, 3 and out, try to force a 3 and out. That's a nice play by Smith to read the slant, see where the room was, and even though he didn't want to go out of bounds, but that's just his momentum.
Yeah, you at least are out of the shadow of your own end zone now at the 30-yard line. Smith again, the deep back. They're going to hand it off to him again on first down, and that time he's dropped by Daddish.
See, watch this one. This time he had Daddish come across. See, in the last play, for some, he was either in a different position or he got blocked, because that time shed the blocker and was able to keep that to, actually he made it a yard loss. So these next 2 plays are going to decide whether the Latin Wolfpack will get a chance on offense to try to steal this game.
1:48 left to go. Second down and almost 11 for Latin Academy. Win in motion. They do that end around with Win one more time. He finds the edge. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Yeah.
Make that the 38.
Yeah, here's Win. That speed of his has 3 blockers in front. Does a good job. Tight rope on the sideline, but he did step out around the 37. Yeah. The 38-yard line, wow. Well, this is it here, Pat. I mean, the timeout situation is not in Boston Latin's favor. And, they gave him the first down.
They got a first down. I thought it was close, but
wow,
they moved the chains right away.
Yeah,
They
were at the 30. They were at the 30. So,
yeah, that's not a first down.
That shouldn't be a first down.
That is not a first down.
I'm surprised that the Boston Latin sideline isn't screaming about this, because you're right. The last play
they started at the 30-yard line, lost a yard. They were at about the 29.
Well, a nice break for Latin Academy.
Wow, that's an oversight. I mean, they were 2 yards short of the first down. You see Maffeo. Maffeo lost the football. He got it back.
Yeah, we get it back. Wow.
So Maffeo recover is a little past the 40, so they probably would have gotten the first down on that play.
Our camera guys have been on top of everything tonight.
Actually, the ball's not even to the 40 yet.
It's not. That's what I'm saying.
So it'd be
4th and inches, right?
Yeah, our truck has been all over this. They've been saying it would be 4th and inches right now.
That's bizarre how that happened. Wow.
It's been too
The
bad.
only thing I'll say that is right before the game, there was a slight delay because the head linesman was over on the sideline trying to find 3 teenagers to do the sticks.
Finding people for the chains is One of the most difficult things for the refs. And then the ref that has to teach
the
people who are using
and
the
watch the game.
Right.
6.
They're trying to get 136 left on the clock.
Well, this is the.
Here we go, Zach.
Latin might have to go all out on this play because they've got to prevent any kind of gain.
2nd and 8 now for the Dragons. They hand off to Smith.
Yeah, this is. And
Dadish is there for the tackle, but Smith continues to fall forward, and he picked up 3, maybe 4 there on 2nd down.
Okay. You're right, because his Dadish grabs him, but he runs through that. This is it for the Latin Wolfpack. Their chances of trying for a last-second score. Well, you know what's interesting? You wonder. I mean, with how risky punts can be, I wonder if Rocco Aziz is looking at this as 2 plays to get this. Especially if he gets something decent on this play. If he gets 2 or 3 yards on this, has like a 4th and 1. The way his quarterback Maffeo has been running that quarterback keeper so well. The Latin Academy's done a very good job this second half.
So Boston Latin School with just 1 timeout. Meanwhile, Latin Academy with 4. Here with 1:29 left to go in the 4th quarter.
That's actually a factor, too, that you might want to go for the 4th down because that Latin has to, first of all, get the stop and then use a timeout, their final one.
3rd and 4 now for Latin Academy, and now Dragons are going to take a timeout here with 1:29 left.
They want to make sure that they have all their players in the right positions.
So Latin Academy with 3 timeouts left. Boston Latin with just 1 timeout left here in the 4th quarter.
What's sort of funny is that all the times we saw the Latin players going for the ball, on the play with Maffeo, he lost the ball and none of them were around.
Nobody was around, so he just picked it right up. The breaks of the game in high school football.
Well, you go back to that catch and fumble right before the end of the first half that ended up giving Latin Academy the 2-point lead. A lot of big plays in this game. And I think we both expected a lot of scoring. And last week, Latin Academy scored 20 points. They lost by 10, but they scored 20.
Boston Latin
had
move the ball.
Plenty of chances. They moved the ball so well. They should have had at least 3 touchdowns.
3rd and 4 now for the Dragons. Latin School's got to make a couple of stops here to try to get the ball back. They hand off to Smith. There's your first stop as Harris makes the initial tackle, and then he's gang tackled
all the time out
at the line of scrimmage.
So now you got to take the chance. There you see that Dadish? No, that's
Harris there on the initial stop.
Harris. For someone who didn't play last week, he must have saved it all up because he's been tough on both sides of the football.
They're going to punt. Latin Academy is going to punt the ball.
Well, they lost yardage. So
Latin School did not call a timeout. Latin School is saving that timeout.
They're taking a big chance here, but well, if that plays his arm, I guess you can. Now they're going to take a timeout, Latin Academy, but that's interesting. Coach Butler decides to keep that last timeout.
Well, one of the plays in their drive where they just scored, they had that handoff to Curran.
Right,
that was a big play, and I'm wondering if he wants to try to mix in a run at some point
maybe
and
catch
save
him
that
off guard.
Timeout
That's good.
on that offense.
I think you're right.
But
it's cutting it real close.
Yeah, and those are the crazy decisions a coach has to make
on the spot.
On the spot.
It's not. You don't have a lot of time to figure it out.
I mean, you see it in the NFL how coaches, kind of
and
don't
sometimes they
manage
botch
the
it.
clock correctly. Right.
Well, on this one, you're right, because, okay, it would have been, let me see. It was close to a minute, so you're talking about 20, maybe 24, 25 seconds. I mean, I guess that's how much confidence he has in Vasquez's arm. That if they can get any kind of return on this, then, and you got the right guy back there.
So Duran back to receive right around the 25-yard line.
He would love to break a big one here to make up for that fumble.
Low snap to Wynn. Wynn's got to run with it. Ryan Wynn is tackled at the 35.
Well,
make that the 36.
Change of possession, the clock stops. Wow, that was a risk by Latin, but they put themselves, this is the best they could have expected by far. A low snap, and Wynn just did what he could to try to add some yardage, but the Wolfpack will have, they got the ball at the, 36-yard line?
Now what are you thinking if you're Latin Academy right now?
Well, they're thinking safeties get back as far as you can and knock the ball down.
1st and 10 now for Vasquez. He's trying to run away from the defenders. Vasquez gets out of bounds. We'll see if he picked up the first down. He was close to it.
I think he got the first down and out of bounds. Really smart play. Watch, he's being chased by Pizarro.
Well, Pizarro's got good speed for a lineman. He's real close. They're going to give it to him.
He got the first down. Wow. And now you look at Conley. Conley's down in front of us. Right, wide right. He has single coverage.
You got Duran in the
slot. Slot man, exactly. See, the slot man's going to be by the safety. So Conley's single coverage.
Harris split out wide to the left. Vasquez, he's got to get rid of it. Oh, he escapes the pressure. Vasquez to the sideline to Duran. He's shoved out of bounds at the 18. Make that the 19.
Okay, now the time is an issue. We're talking about 10 seconds. Good job by Duran coming back to help his quarterback. But now this is an easy throw for Vasquez, because you're talking about inside the 20-yard line. They used the short slant before. There is a variation on that they could use with Duran, or they have Harris out here.
Harris at the bottom of your screen. Now it's Vasquez. Looking in the end zone for Duran. It's popped up in the air. And it falls incomplete. 4 seconds left on the clock. So Latin School will have another shot at it.
I mean, double coverage, Pat, but that was actually really thrown well. He gave his receiver the best chance to catch that. You saw him jump.
Almost an interception.
Okay, you got Harris. Now they put Conley on the other side. That's the side he scored the touchdown earlier in the game.
Conley, top of your screen.
They're going.
Vasquez.
Oh.
And that falls incomplete. And that is going to do it. Latin Academy is able to hang on here at White Stadium. What a crazy game.
It was a crazy game.
We've had here in week 2.
Yeah, the Latin players are upset. They thought there was interference in the end zone.
There was a push.
There was a shove. So it could have been a flag, but no flag. Excellent game. 27-24. Yeah, I'm telling you, that was some game, especially for just the second week of the season. Now watch right your screen. So that's the push, but the linesman decided it wasn't enough to throw a flag.
Yeah, for a second I thought that Harris might have even broken his route off.
No, he got pushed in the back.
Shoved.
He got pushed in the back, yeah.
So Latin Academy hangs on to win 27-24.
Hang on, right?
Yeah. Hanging on by a thread does Latin Academy. Heck of a game here at White Stadium.
By that dragon here.
Well, the last 2 weeks, we've seen now that all these exam schools are playing each other. Latin Academy and O'Brien actually play on Thanksgiving, so we won't see that game for, the whole season. But this has become a very fun rivalry.
Very
Between
emotional
these two
too. I mean, it ebbs and flows, but there's a lot of extra little oomph in some of those tackles.
That's right.
And so it's a good idea. It was a long time coming, but now that it's here, and even Coach Butler at halftime when he was talking to Seth, he said, "Oh yeah, it's definitely a rivalry."
No question. So we saw that here tonight. Big crowd. Fantastic game that had a lot of twists and turns, but Latin Academy comes away with a 3-point win here at White Stadium. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our Game of the Week MVP, our winning coach, and the final stats here from White Stadium right after these words. Don't go away.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do it like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Welcome back to White Stadium and Jamaica Plain. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the Latin Academy Dragons take down the Boston Latin Wolfpack 27-24 in a crazy up-and-down game here at White Stadium. And there's a lot of different guys that made a lot of great contributions tonight. I mean, we haven't talked a lot about Maffeo much in the second half, but he did a great job under center.
He managed the game the second half.
Absolutely.
Got big first downs. You're right.
They managed the game very well. You got Ryan Wynn, who had a couple of huge plays on those end-arounds that we talked about him doing a lot. But Patrick Smith out of the backfield, playing linebacker. He got hurt a little bit throughout this game, but made some huge plays, scored 2 touchdowns. Pat Smith is our MVP tonight. He is down on the field with our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky, and the head coach of Latin Academy, Rocco Ziza. So, Seth, take it away.
Joined by our MVP, Patrick Smith, and head coach, Rocco Ziza. Pat, you guys struggled offensively as a team in that first half, held to under 40 yards. You finished with 18 for 90. What were you aiming to do, and how much did that senior-laden offensive line help you guys, not just yourself, but anybody in the backfield?
I was just trying to, find the holes that our line was making, punch through. It's all on the team.
This is a rivalry game, and you probably had the biggest momentum play when you were able to pick up the fumble late in that first half, score the go-ahead touchdown, and they never got the lead back. What was going through your mind on that play after a big hit? You were able to pick it up and give your team the lead.
I saw the big hit by our cornerback, Manny Garcia. Big props, and I just picked it up and ran with it.
You came out the field twice today, first with cramps, then a shoulder injury. Ryan Nguyen, another great player for you, another senior, had to come out the field. You guys were talking. When it's a game like this, and you have all these fans, and they have all these fans, how are you fighting through it, and how much did this mean to get a win?
It's all about adrenaline, practicing every day, pushing through. That's it.
Congrats on a great game. Coach, we'll bring you in. Just the second time in this rivalry, but this was one of the best games I've seen in years. First half didn't go your way at all. What was the message going into halftime? Obviously, you guys had the lead, but until that last 2 minutes, it was the other side that had all the advantages.
Oh, no question. I got to give BLS credit. They just shut us down the first half. We wanted to run the ball, and we couldn't in the first half. But the second half, we had to run the ball, and we did. So it was a great game on both sides of the ball by both teams. So we're just happy and a little bit lucky to walk away with a victory today.
We couldn't bring all your offensive linemen out because that would have been a lot of MVPs. But are they the MVP? Obviously, Pat had a great game. A couple other guys did. But just in how they were able to push the pile and consistently give those first downs?
Well, I think it's actually a team effort. We actually moved the ball a few times on the quarterback sneaks. When that happens, the quarterback is running the ball, and the back's got to block too. So it's actually a team effort. Everybody has to block, not just the lineman. So that's a very appreciative for the line, but it was a team win today.
It's a young rivalry, but it's a fun rivalry. Take me through this one. Obviously, you're focused on the nitty-gritty, but when you look up maybe during a timeout and you see your fans going crazy, their fans going crazy, and the way this game ended, I mean, clearly we could be seeing some fun battles going forward.
Well, we were lucky. That quarterback can throw the ball, and they had us dead to right in the first half, and we just survived and worked through it. And, we're just happy that we won, and it was a very entertaining game for everybody, I think, especially when you win.
What's the big focus going forward? 1-1 at this point. You pick up that first win here in the city. How do you improve for next week?
No, the rules don't change. We just say, prepare, execute, and react, and just get better every day. That's all that matters.
Congrats on the win. It was a very exciting one for us. So guys, take it away.
Thanks very much, Seth. And you can always get honesty from Rocco Ziza. He said we were lucky that we came away with a win here tonight.
I think he might have seen that first down miss that you saw. He might have. And he also saw that push in the back at the end of the game that could have been a flag. But things are going to happen. I go all the way back to the first half when you had the cornerback Garcia run down the running back for Latin to save what could have been a touchdown. And then the first quarter ended 0-0.
Right.
Okay, because Latin could have been ahead then. Back and forth, and it's like you mentioned about the mistake on the first down. Both of us are glad that it didn't actually decide the game because Latin did get the ball back. But then going back to you mentioned you were sort of questioning not using the timeout on the Latin side. Sure. Because time ended up being the most important factor. They ran out of downs. I mean, but it was a chance you take, and I think that it's good to see Coach Butler show that kind of confidence in his defense.
That's right.
And in his offense, too. He's showed confidence in his defense to get the ball, showed confidence in his offense to move the ball, which they did. They were able to do it. But the point we always talk, we laugh about it now, but we always talk about conversions. Look at the final score. The final score is the three
extra points
that were made
that
by
Suazo,
by Latin Academy, and the fact that Boston Latin only had 24 points, they missed all 4 of their 2-point conversion tries.
No question. No
They
question.
both had 4 touchdowns.
That's right.
But it's just a matter of, okay, who got the, with the whipped cream on top, right?
That's right. That's right. And I mean, it's such a weapon, like you said before, to have a kicker like that who
it
can
is.
just be automatic. I mean, the only reason they didn't get a PAT
Bad
on
snap.
the last
Bad snap.
touchdown was a bad snap. So I mean, it's Latin Academy has that weapon, and it's so good when you have a touchdown, you know you're getting an extra
Going
point.
forward, you're right. It's a game changer, and we definitely saw it change the game tonight. But well played by both teams. I know that in the beginning, in the open, we talked about how these guys are going to react. Both teams lost last week in different fashions. I mean, you had the Latin Academy defense gave up 30 points, losing to Randolph, and we did the Boston Latin game. We saw how the speed and quickness was just too much for Latin when they played O'Brien. But clearly, having Harris back is going to make a big difference for Boston Latin moving forward. I mean, they're getting ready for their league games, that very tough dual county league out in the suburbs. But Harris is a difference maker on both sides of the football. So it's good that they'll have him back. Hopefully, he'll stay healthy.
Let's take a look at the final stats from this game before we sign off from White Stadium. And first up, it's going to be the Boston Latin Wolfpack.
Well, you see a lot of numbers up there. Cameron, we talked about him, had 99 yards and 8 carries. Vasquez had a touchdown. Also, he carried 9 times. I was surprised he didn't carry it more. Ended up with 43 yards receiving. Duran, six catches for 63 yards. Conley, that one big catch for the touchdown. And Vasquez overall, 11 for 22, 178 in the touchdown. Those are good numbers for a high school quarterback.
No question. He was zipping the ball all around the field. Let's take a look at Latin Academy's final stats.
Latin Academy, Smith, our outstanding player, only had 8 yards in the first half total.
That's right.
Ended up with
90,
so 82 yards in the second half, 2 touchdowns, 1 on each side of the football, the fumble recovery, then, of course, the offensive touchdown later. Maffeo did carry the ball 4 times, 36 yards, very quiet 36 yards because they're just like quarterback sneaks or scrambling, but, and also he had an important touchdown later on. Win, 2 catches for 45 yards, and Maffeo only threw the ball 9 times, and that's very little, but that's all they really need because the defense gave him the score, and like you said, you're getting the extra points. Hey, back and forth. He managed that fourth quarter very well for his Latin Academy offense.
No questions. The Latin Academy Dragons pick up their first win of the season. Meanwhile, Boston Latin falls to 0-2 after a great game here at White Stadium. Folks, you want to watch this game again? You're going to want to after seeing that. You can go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from this season are up there. You can check out BNBL games. A lot of great stuff up on the website. Follow us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/game of the week. All the games from this season, all the links are up there on Facebook. A lot of updates on what games we're going to be covering. A lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Great game tonight. We're coming right back here next week, which should be another great game. It's Latin Academy hosting Tech Boston for the Mason Cup. Huge rivalry between those two teams. We'll have it live on Boston City TV here on Game of the Week. But for right now, we're going to say so long from White Stadium. Have a good night, everybody.